All right, welcome to Sorry If I Spit When I Speak. It's nice to be back. And today we're going to talk about potential picks in the first round for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we've all heard the recent rumors about the Bengals being interested in a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
And-
obviously, right? I mean, obviously, you have a QB coach who is coming as a head coach for the first time. His signature, the way he will be judged, is in the QB position. It's only logical that he's going to want to shape and mold his own pick here for QB. I mean, he's got, and I'm betting that the Blackburn and Brown family has given him free reign. Even though they're being very cheap with all the other positions, my bet is that they are giving him free reign when it comes to the QB position. That's just how I feel.
I mean, it's possible.
Yes,
it's possible.
It's probable.
It's possible.
It's probable.
Well, yeah, but okay. So we want to talk about potential outcomes here. Okay,
Right.
Hodgie? So we know that Kyler Murray is going to be off the board at number 11, and we know the Bengals are not going to trade all the way up to the number 1 pick. We know that, right?
They may not even trade up 5 spots for a quarterback.
Yeah, we are not. Yeah. So I look at this, John, and tell me if I'm wrong. So here's the quarterback situations of the teams picking ahead of us. Okay, the Cardinals are either going to go with Murray or Rosen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Are they first?
They're first. Yeah, it's either they trade Rosen and take Murray, or they stick with Rosen 1 more year.
They're in talks of trading Rosen to Washington at this moment. They're taking Murray until they don't take him, I think, is how we have to look at it.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it's Murray. Okay. And then I look
so let's just before we move on. No chance we get Rosen then.
0 chance.
Oh man.
I don't say 0, John. I don't
0.01.
I say 1%. I say 1%, John.
Man.
You're just being pessimistic. It's like 1 to 2%.
First the Mueller dossier, now this, huh?
I don't get it.
It's just been a bad week, man. Been a bad few weeks.
I don't.
There's no justice in the world. The Bengals need a good QB. They could have got Rosen. That's all I'm saying. And the Mueller report was supposed to have more exciting, spicy stuff in it. I haven't seen anything.
All right. We're getting off track here. So I want to go back to football. So 49ers, the San Francisco 49ers, they're not getting a quarterback.
No way.
Yeah, because they have Jimmy G.
He's the future star. He's the future star of the NFL.
Well, he is their player for right now. The Jets, Sam Darnold. The Raiders, they're really trying to help out Derek Carr here. I think they're going to give him another year with John Gruden. They paid him a lot of money. So I don't think they go.
Awesome. Derek Carr, they would be fools to get rid of him or do anything. But Derek Carr is awesome. He's the most underrated QB in the NFL. Mark my words.
Okay. And then you have the Bucks, the Buccaneers, who they just got Bruce Arians. And Bruce Arians, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but he believes in Winston, and that's the reason he took the job.
I believe when he says that he wants to win with Winston. I think Winston has 1 year left on his contract, but I still think that they're going to try to elevate him right now and just focus on the contract later. I think they're sticking with him.
Yeah. So let's take the Buccaneers out of it, right? Yeah. The Giants. Now, I know it's just a rumor, but it's not far-fetched that they are offering Eli Manning an extension. Is that true?
That's dumb.
That is dumb. Yeah. It's also very possible because they have a really dumb general manager, David Gettleman. So.
They probably just want to sell off all the Manning jerseys first. Maybe that's what it is. Because, I mean, this guy, he's got no future. He's over. He's
Eli Manning is fine for what they want to do, and that's run with Saquon Barkley 40 times a game. It's a fine strategy if it's like 1999, but it's 2019, and you need a quarterback to win. So the Giants can do whatever they want. It doesn't matter to me. But they won't take
the Giants are dead to me and John. Go, Dadio. Next.
Okay. Jaguars just gave Nick Foles a big deal.
That is interesting.
Super Bowl favorites. Super Bowl favorites.
Please, go ahead.
Because you have to balance with Nick Foles is Nick Foles, and we haven't seen him succeed outside of Philadelphia.
I'm not sure I'm following you.
But I think it was 4 years, 50-something million guaranteed. It's still possible they take one at 7, and I think they were big fans of Dwayne Haskins in the process, but it just feels like that's a lot of money going to Foles to then draft someone in this year and have him sit on the bench for 2 years because they're going to start Foles for 2 years, and that can't be like disputed because of the money that they gave him. So I think right now we can tentatively put him out of the quarterback race at 7th overall. Even though if I were to sign Nick Foles, I would probably want to draft a quarterback. I just wouldn't throw him all that guarantee money.
I would.
Well, let's be honest. Nick Foles he just turned 30, I think, right? He's turning 30 this offseason.
Yeah, he's a baby.
That's young for a quarterback. They gave him the money.
But he's what, like a 2-year starter?
Well, it doesn't matter. The point is they have a veteran team. They want to win now. There's no rush. It's not a great QB class. You know what I mean? Like, they spent all that money on all that defense, and now they want to try to get something out of it before it's too late.
But that's fine. That's fine. Like, Nick Foles is like an ideal quarterback to start and have a quarterback kind of groom under him for a year, but they paid him so much money over the next 2 or 3 years that it's just not going to be a viable plan. They kind of just essentially took themselves out of it, if you will.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm saying even if they wanted to groom someone, they can wait a year till next quarterback class. There's no rush. You know what I mean? They can wait and have
Nick Foles starting. That's like a 6-7 win season, so they'll be right back into it. 16
win season. Yeah, that's
6-7 win season.
Oh, 16-7. That's
67
more games than we have.
He's doing this on purpose, John. Let me explain. He does this on purpose. Here's the thing. He is passive aggressive. Okay.
No, I'm not.
Deep down, hold on. Deep down, he loves Nick Foles just the way I love Nick Foles. But whereas Hodgie come out.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm putting on trial here. It's like a wizard chase or something, like a sorcerer pursuit or something. This is ridiculous. No, I'm saying it's like you're looking for something that's not there. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, you fascist. Listen to me for 1 second, okay? Let me ask you a question. You are live on the air. Oh, no. Where did you go? Don't
saving face.
Okay.
He has to wipe the sweat off his brow.
We are live on the air. Is Andy Dalton a good starting QB for the Bengals?
We haven't even got to the Bengals yet.
No. I want to show you how passive aggressive
I said this when Logie. No. I said this when Logie was on the show. Logie said he thinks Dalton is like the second best quarterback on the Bengals roster. I said he might be the first best quarterback on the Bengals roster.
There you go.
Remember that?
And John, this is exactly what he just did to you. He loves Nick Foles deep down. He's got the itch and he's got the hankering for Nick Foles, just the way Hodgie does. But see, Hodgie dumb. Hodgie come out and say that. But this guy, he doesn't say it. He keeps it to himself because he thinks he's smart. And he says, 16? He heard you say 6. I heard you say the whole word.
Okay, hold on. We have a lot more to cover here, Hodgie. Can I keep going?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So we got the Lions. They have a Stafford. He's still pretty young. You know, they're not
like 23, good. Right?
And he's good.
He's young. He's like, what, 30 or something?
No, I don't know. 24, I think, yeah.
Okay. They're not replacing him, not with all that money.
No way.
And then you have the Bills with Josh Allen, right?
He's great.
They're not replacing him. So that's the Broncos. And we know they like who, John? Drew Lock, right?
And I like Drew Lock. I call him Goldilocks or Goldie Arms. You can call him either one in my book. He's very good. He should be number 1. I think I don't know why they don't have him at number 1. He's the real superstar in the draft.
That's debatable.
Yeah. It is debatable. But when I see that arm, that's why I call it a golden arm. Because it's good.
Yeah. But the point is, the Broncos are more interested in Drew Lock than, say, Dwayne Haskins. Is that true, John? Can we confirm that?
There's the Tampa Bay Bucks and Devin White, the linebacker of LSU, and there's the Broncos and Drew Lock. That's like and obviously the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. I think those are like the 3 like pseudo locks that you can make right now in terms of connections between players and teams that you can basically just Sharpie in right now in terms of who has interest and if those players are available to those teams, and that's probably going to be the pick. The question with the Broncos is, are they going to let Drew Lock fall to them, or are they going to try to trade up? Because I know that the Lions and the Bills are both offering to trade back because they want to see how the board falls to them. Maybe even like the Jaguars could want to trade back as well, because we don't know of any other teams that are as interested in Drew Lock as the Broncos are, but it's very rare to see quarterbacks kind of fall to teams. So the Broncos do like Drew Lock. It's just a matter of if they're going to stay there at 10 and let him fall to him, which very well might happen. But it's just it's weird to mess with the historical precedents there in terms of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, so there's 2 things to discuss with Dwayne Haskins, because that's where we got to right now.
Right.
Okay. Number 1 is the likelihood of the Bengals drafting him. Let's be honest. He's there at 11. The likelihood is high. It's high. Okay. He went to Ohio State. Mike Brown basically is like, oh, let me get him, right?
He doesn't have to pay the movers
tickets, save face. Yeah, go ahead, please.
He doesn't have to pay the movers as much. Keep going. I was just encouraging your point because I agree with it. I believe that, yes, Haskins, I believe that's what's happening here.
Yeah. And, he's, I don't know what the NFL comparison for him would be. He had a great year, He threw 50 touchdowns, his only real year starting all games. He takes chances to make winning plays. He knows how to read the defense. There's no doubt. He hits his receivers, his fast receivers in a stride. That's better than Dalton in that regard. He takes hits in the pocket. He has some good traits. But John was saying, we don't have a great history of quarterbacks with 1 year starting. We also know he's not a great scrambler. He doesn't throw down the run that well.
No.
And he doesn't. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Not great under pressure, right? I mean, not
great under pressure.
Which is bad. We've seen that. We've seen that cause problems in our own lineup.
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is this. Is he as good or better than Dalton? Yeah, maybe. And he's a lot cheaper. So that appeals to, Mike Brown and to Zach Taylor, the chance that, he can build around someone from the very start.
Right? And before we go to John, let's go to Hodgie real quick, because that is exactly what Zach wants in this guy. Because honestly, from my perspective, I'm fine with Dalton over Haskins. I'm not a big Haskins fan. I say keep Dalton, he's got more experience at least, because Haskins is no superstar. But what Zach is going to like about Haskins is be able to shape and form him from the bottom up and make him the guy that he wants. John, what do you think?
Yeah, so this is a story that was 2 years into the making, because in 2017 you had Andy Dalton kind of in the middle of the contract that he's in right now, and Marvin Lewis saying every position is available for us to draft in the first round except for quarterback. And what did we see that year? We picked John Ross with both Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson on the board. Big L right there. Last year, they traded back from the 12th overall, took them out of the Josh Rosen conversation, still had the chance to draft Lamar Jackson, ended up taking Billy Price. Right now, looks like another L. So that's 2 years and potentially 4 franchise quarterbacks that they let pass and go by. Right now, I'm not the biggest fan of Dwayne Haskins of the quarterback that he is right now. I think that the most apt comparison to him is a riskier Derek Carr. And I know that Hodgie is a fan of Derek Carr. But it's more of who Haskins is right now, and that's the whole problem and the whole kind of mystery with Haskins as an evaluation, because the good things and the bad things that you see on tape, it all has to be taken under the precaution that this is just a guy with 1 year of tape. And as Dadio said, the most recent examples of quote-unquote successful 1 year starters is you have Cam Newton and Mitchell Trubisky. It's very rare for quarterbacks who have 1 year of collegiate starting experience to get drafted in the first round. And when you look at Newton, that's obviously an exception in terms of overall ability and athleticism and just him being actually Superman and how he was able to make plays. And then Trubisky is very much up in the air, and there's just as many doubters with him as believers. So the whole historical precedent with 1 year starting quarterbacks is very risky. But also Kyler Murray's a 1 year starter, and he's about to go #1 overall. Why? Because Murray can create more on his own. Besides the fact that he's 30 pounds lighter and a couple inches shorter, it gives him an athleticism edge. But when we see Haskins, when things start to break down in front of him, it's hard for him to adjust his feet. Right. His footwork is hard for him to throw off base, and that led to some problems early on in Ohio State season. But as that season progressed, Haskins became more comfortable in Ohio State system. He was able to flow better into the flow of the offense. He was able to produce more, and that's what got him into the Heisman race candidate. But overall, Haskins as a prospect is risky. That has to be understood right now. 1 year starters is risky. He's really young overall, but he's not going to be able to start in 2019. But if he's there, if the Bengals are in a position to draft a first-round quarterback without trading up, they would be the first team since the Buffalo Bills did in 2013. If they have a chance to potentially get a positive future beyond Andy Dalton as soon as possible, they need to take that chance, even if there is a risk with Haskins.
Well, let's be honest, they're not going to do that. Okay, so
they're not going to take him if he falls.
Oh, they will. They're not going to trade up.
No, they're not going to trade up. The only way that I could see him traded up is if they do with the Bills, because they have this weird, brother and brother.
Maybe, but only if they have
and
to
give up. That's only like 2 spots. So
it's not going to be like giving up a second round or a future first rounder. That's not. They would never.
They're not going to give up anything more than like a 3rd round pick.
Right.
If you're trading up 2 spots, that might be the highest price that you would.
Right. Exactly. I think we're on the same page. But my thing is this: I could see them taking Haskins round 1, or maybe Will Grier 2nd round.
I like that.
And I think I'd be happy with the 2nd option, to be honest with you. I know a lot of Ohio State, and because I know Grier is a high risk, high reward type of guy. But I'm not too crazy about any of these guys. I'm still hoping they make a move for Rosen, but it seems like that's out of the picture. But okay, so the other options, if we don't go quarterback round 1, they're pretty good. We have just real quick. I'm gonna read them off, and then we'll talk about them. Ed Oliver, right? Devin White, Devin Bush, okay, TJ Hockenson. Okay, these are the guys that I think that are good fits and a realistic chance for the Bengals.
We can even throw Hockenson's teammate Noah Fant, another tight end.
Yeah, I think Hockenson the better blocker. Is that right?
Yeah, he's more experienced in that role, I think. But I think Fant has the athleticism that you look for in a tight end drafting that high.
Okay. So let's go through these real quick. So Ed Oliver, he played for Houston. He's very explosive. Some people that talk about his measurables and compare them, to Aaron Donald. And obviously he's not Aaron Donald level, but the agility, the explosiveness, the fluidity he's from an NFL family. His brother played right guard. His dad played running back, but he's lacking in length. He's a little shorter in the arm length and the whatnot, and he kind of gets clogged up against the bigger bodies. He can get overwhelmed on some down blocks and double teams and that kind of stuff. Now, John, how would you feel? Because here's the thing. Look, Geno Atkins, he could take his game to another level playing next to a competent, defensive tackle, a star defensive tackle. We could get a couple more years out of Dunlap. What do you think about this move, knowing we have such big holes with the linebacker position?
Look, and right behind quarterback, the next biggest need for every NFL team is pass rushers. Even if you have 4 to 5 guys that you're comfortable going out there on Sunday, you need a 7 to 8 man rotation that goes that deep in order to consistently get pressure on the opponent's quarterback. It's rare to find a prospect that has elite production, that has elite athleticism, and is only going to be 21 years old when he starts his rookie year. But that's the case with Ed Oliver. And the comparisons to Aaron Donald aren't really fair to him, because Aaron Donald is just another type of human. But when you compare the both, Aaron Donald was a redshirt senior when he declared for the NFL, when he left the NFL draft, so he was much more developed in terms of his technique and his pass rushing prowess, and that's how he was able to produce at the level that he did in Pittsburgh. Aaron Donald's best production came when he was a true sophomore, when he was 19 years old. And yeah, it came against the American Athletic Conference, which is not a powerhouse conference compared to the SEC or any other Power 5 conference. But that production is still otherworldly and should have been taking notice, even if he kind of fell off his junior year and he dealt with injuries, he dealt with other coaching issues. And you can kind of put that aside and knock it off is not that big of a deal. But it's rare to find a prospect that checks all those boxes and also has the dominant tape to also match it up. He plays a very valuable position. He's an extreme athlete. He has the historical production of an all-pro player. He's a top 5 player in this class. And when you look at who else the Bengals have at defensive tackle besides Geno Atkins, there's no one there that you can say we can pass on Oliver because we have these guys. Ryan Glasgow, he's decent, but you would play Oliver over Glasgow. And even if he plays the same position as Geno Atkins, you're still guaranteed 400 to 500 snaps playing next to him when they go in 4 pass rushing sets, when they go take the nose tackle off the field, when they go into nickel sets. So you're going to get playing time from Oliver. You're going to get production from him, and you're going to get an eventual Geno Atkins replacement. That is a great pick at 11th overall.
Okay. Let me put it like this, John. We need an athletic linebacker really, really, really bad. It's like without that, I don't see us ever stopping good teams when it really matters. Okay. Now the question is, if we don't get that in the first round, is that available later? And the other question is, are the guys in the first round what we need? Now, for instance, let's take Devin White. He's as athletic as it gets, right? Mm-hmm. He's super athletic, very physically impressive, high motor, all that stuff. But coverage, he relies on his physical ability more than dissecting the defense and whatnot. He can get exposed sometimes on the play action, on the misdirection and zone. You know, he again. I mean, he's basically relying on his natural talents. You know, and
that's more what the Bengals have right now.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I was exactly gonna say. We have what's the guy we drafted last year?
Malik Jefferson.
Right. So we kind of have one of those. Obviously, not as athletic, not as talented, but you know. And then you have Devin White. You have Devin Bush from Michigan, who is kind of the opposite of. I mean, he's a little undersized. He doesn't have the best size and all that, but he's a very patient player. He disguises himself on blitz and all that, and a little better in coverage, from what I understand, in terms of being able to read the defense, right?
So the thing with both of them is that they're both extraordinary athletes. I think Bush tested even better for his size compared to Devin White, which is honestly a surprise because on tape you see a little bit more stiffness with Bush, and they both kind of had different strengths. With White, he's more that traditional scrape over the top, kind of play from the numbers to numbers and be able to make those plays down the sideline starting from the opposite side of the field. With Bush, he's more of a downhill guy. He'll be able to take on blockers. He's much better as a blitzer. And yeah, he might have better instincts right now because he had a little bit more playing experience. But I think both of them have the raw skills that you can mold into a linebacker who will be able to develop solid instincts and coverage and just reading his keys and whatnot. But they both have the right stuff right now to be able to develop like that. And I think that's important with the Bengals. What they have in linebacker right now is because I think more so over raw talent has been coaching and lack of development with that position group, and maybe under a new defense coordinator in a defense past Marvin Lewis. I think they can finally get to that next step and mold the talent that they have now. But they do need one more great talent piece.
Yeah, what I'm saying, John,
one of the Devils can get that done.
Well, just let me interject real quick. I mean, you mentioned Marvin Lewis. I just wanted to take a walk down memory lane, and maybe everybody's going to disagree with me, and that's fine. You know, if you put it in the comments, tweet at me. You know, that's fine. But I, at this moment, just a few weeks from the draft, I'm missing Marvin Lewis. I am. No, really. The man was creative, and you know, his hands were tied. You know, I mean, he was getting orders from above, and he wasn't able to get the. But when it came to getting defense, to stacking the defense in really creative ways, I mean, he did that. He got, you know, like I thought one creative move we saw this season, not of course Lewis is gone, but one creative move we saw this season was the Jaguars getting their backup quarterback from the Apollos guy from when the AFL fell out. I don't know. What do you think about that, John? Was that creative or just dumb?
What, signing an AFL quarterback?
The AFF guy, the Orlando Apollos guy went to the back. He became the backup QB for the Jaguars.
That's smart. He produced in the AAF. Like,
yeah, he was. I mean, he was good. Man. AAF. Yeah, he was good. I thought that's like. Man,
what does that have anything to do with Marvin Lewis?
That's because the kind of thing Marvin
Lewis was narrating for the AF. Look, hold on. I just want to.
It's the kind of thing Marvin Lewis would have done. He was creative.
Hold on.
He couldn't develop linebackers, which is the whole thesis.
John, can we get back to the point? I'm sorry. But
what's the point?
Okay, but here's what I want to say, John. Let's say we have a great defensive line, okay? And you remember how bad our linebacking core was last year? Do you remember? It was basically.
So yeah, I do.
Okay, John. No,
you guys remember how Marvin Lewis made it work despite that toward the end of the season? Okay, I'm done.
Did he?
Yeah, he didn't make the line. Well, listen, he didn't make the linebackers work. No. He made the defense work despite not having linebackers.
Yes.
What I'm saying is here. This is what I'm saying. If we don't get one of these athletic linebackers in the round one, when are we going to find a real linebacker? Where? When? That's what I'm saying.
You can find good linebackers all through the draft.
John, you
can.
You like John can or the Bengals can? The Bengals can't. That's what I know.
Apparently, the Bengals and Marvin Lewis couldn't.
The Bengals can. They don't know linebackers.
No, we don't do linebackers.
John,
okay. All right. Let me twist this argument around because we could have said this. We could have said the same thing about centers last year. We had to take a center in the first round. What did they do? They took the worst center in the first round.
No,
that's the same argument.
John, no, we already had the center on our roster. Okay,
that's also true.
And I knew that he was okay, so we weren't forced to take one.
You personally didn't know Trey Hopkins could play center.
Yes, I did.
Anyways, that's the same. The center was the biggest need, so we had to take in the first round. It was a miss in the evaluation, obviously. That's flawed process, man.
It was Ohio State. It's because they were afraid of losing ticket sales. They went to the Ohio State.
It was flawed process. You didn't need to.
But what I'm saying is, John. What I'm saying is, okay. I'm just saying, adding a talented athlete. If let's say that Devin White and Ed Oliver on Madden are both 95. I'd rather have the 95 linebacker, considering who our team is. That's what I'm saying.
Plays a less important position,
guys.
You need pass rusher over linebackers.
Guys, I have bad news, man. One good or even great linebacker isn't going to solve our problem. No. But at least if we get a really good QB, at least the games are going to be fun to watch. Because really, I mean, that's what we're going for here. I mean,
well, and speaking of good QB, we know that Dalton is a much better QB when he has a tight end. Let's go to Hockenson real quick, okay? So TJ Hockenson, man, this guy, I
don't want him.
Okay. Well, anyways,
let's see what John says. I don't want.
Go ahead, John.
Not my pick. Not my pick. No.
Not my tight end.
No.
Yeah, I know. I've heard this so much. Not my tight end. Not my quarterback. It's everywhere. You hear this stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Wait, can I talk now?
Yeah, please.
John, please. Go ahead, John.
Anything else? Hockenson checked most of the check marks. I think before Pete tested at the combine, it was obviously great tape, great blocker. Comes from a scheme that implements a lot of NFL pro style concepts in that offense. Even if he's not a feature receiver, he still was a big part of that Iowa offense because they don't really predicate their scheme around individual talents. Tested fairly well in terms of explosion and flexibility. Didn't test really as fast as you would like to see, and that's kind of worrisome for his long-term potential. But I think he's still really talented tight end. I'm just honestly a slightly bigger fan of his teammate Noah Fant because I think he did test with elite athleticism. He did have elite production at Iowa. I think his ceiling overall is higher in the NFL, even if he has a little bit more issues with drops. Because I just think he's a better athlete, and I think that's going to help him win as a receiver more than Hockenson. They both have great after the catch ability. I just think in terms of winning as a receiver, Fant's going to have an easier time. If he could just get over his drop issues, I think he'll end up being the more successful pro player with maybe Hockenson having like the higher floor, if you will.
Right, but John, here's the reality. John, real quick, I just want to say this. John, they're both, excuse me, sorry.
What's that?
Good?
That's disgusting. You have to eat less meat, man.
He's joking.
What do you think I do when I turn my camera off?
This man eats so much protein. So many animal carcasses are in this man's bowels. You know they rot in your bowels. You do know
that.
They go right down the intestines. You do know that, right?
Yeah. Again, with the what do you call it? The magician pursuit or whatever. Listen, here's what I want to say.
Hunt, say it. You might as well write it in all caps, okay? Kevki or whatever. You might as well write it in all caps.
Okay. Listen, John, what I'm saying is, what we know is that both these tight ends are way better than Uzomah, who I like, by the way, right?
But they just paid Uzomah.
No, I like Uzomah. Listen, let me tell you what happens this year, okay? Tyler Eifert is going to be healthy for half the season. And that's good for Tyler Eifert. I saw him just a few weeks ago. I saw a clip of him at the game. He was like doing something, drinking beer. He looked okay. He's gonna be healthy for half the season, my guess is. And that'll give time for Uzomah to develop a little more. Uzomah's good, man. He's fine.
All right. My point is this. We don't want to get a quarterback, and if we want to be competitive this year, the tight end is gonna be huge, Randy Dalton. So let's just say Oliver's gone. Let's say Devin White's gone. We think we have a chance at Bush in the second round. We both want
Bush will be available in the second round.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Hey, John, can you just kill my dream once and for all and tell me why it is the case that we can't get Rosen in a hypothetical universe where we'd want?
They're not interested in him, man.
I know, but I'm saying if I could make someone interested, if I could show up at the right little, cocktail party and talk to Zach and nibble on his ear or write a letter to Mike Brown or whatever, I'm saying, is it possible? I know they're not interested, but I'm saying, why is it impossible? That's what
I'll tell you this. There's the same likelihood that they do this as if they want to trade for Russell Wilson. If you're going to concentrate your efforts on something that's impossible, you might as well go for Wilson. Instead of going for
Can they?
I mean, anybody can, but I don't think anybody will.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That's so stupid.
But the
The
Cardinals
Seahawks should pay him as much as they want.
They should, man. He's the
Yeah,
best.
but anyways, okay. So I just want to real quick say that I want to thank all our patrons out there because they're really great and they've been patronizing us. Even though I'm sorry, they have been patronizing toward us. Hodgie always corrects me on that. Okay, they anyways. We are patronized in their presence.
No.
And anyways, can I just finish my sentence, Hodgie?
Yeah.
So, and we have a lot of them. A lot. We have 7 of them. Ashanti Sanders, even though we didn't do a show for like 2 weeks.
Well, we were collecting data, doing research. The show.
Yeah. No. I mean, we were working a good, 15, 16 hours a day on the show. But Tim Brashear, Andrew Seiler, Brian Taylor, John Harden, Michael Ford, Tanner Garrett. Thank you all so much. You all make our lives so easy and so great. We love you.
And guys, everybody should put comments. But write to comments not just on the chat, but at the everywhere. Give us a 5-star on the podcast. Write a little comment at the bottom. Tweet at us. Let's get some conversation going. Because really, because let's be honest, Dadio is passive aggressive. Can we acknowledge that in the comments?
Well, no, we can't. That would really be bad for ratings. But I do appreciate it. And please listen to the podcast. It's a really good podcast. It's a lot like the show, a little less visual. You're going to love it. Share it with your friends because I know not everybody have time to get on YouTube and watch for 30, 40 minutes.
Yeah, and if you listen to the last 10 seconds, you can hear my guitar solo, which Dadio cut out most of it.
Exactly. It has a lot of nice music. It's a good podcast. Yeah. I think that's about it. I just want to say one thing real quick. I love being a Bengals fan. I love the Steelers rivalry, but can we not get involved in this all this Antonio Brown stuff? He's not even on the Steelers anymore. But I mean, I hate this whole people taking sides with Antonio Brown, is egotistical and Juju choked away the team's season and all that. It's just ridiculous. I mean, why can't both things be true? You know what I mean? Juju's a choker. Antonio Brown is a baby. He's an egotistical baby. I don't get why we have to take sides.
That's it. That's what I'm talking about. You see how you just did that? You just insulted them both, and you just were. You said let's not insult, and then you insulted. That's the kind of thing you do.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know if you guys have any comments about that. If not, that's all I had for today's show. Hodgie, John.
Well, I think all of us know we're going to be watching AJ McCarron do really well in Texas if the QB goes down there. So that's it.
Okay.
Oh, that's
John?
right.
Yeah. He's back. Yeah. He's still around. So
I thought he signed with the AAF and then got
man, he's way above the AAF.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I saw him in the MAGA hat, so I'm no longer a fan. Okay, bye. Good night.
Okay, that's all we have. We'll see you next time. So long, SVT. Bye.
Bye. That looks like the light is